Hi everyone, welcome back to another recap video. Make sure to like and subscribe. This show is about how a man is reborn in a world full of magic and various races. He happened to be very sluggish and fat in his previous life. In an attempt to save some people, he died. So the Almighty God gave him a second chance at life. The show kicks off with a middle-aged, jobless recluse in his 30s attempting to save some high schoolers from an oncoming truck. In a tragic twist of fate, he ends up getting hit by the truck and winds up in the hospital. Sadly, he doesn't make it, but that's where things get really bizarre. He's reincarnated into a whole new world, starting life anew as a newborn baby. Stranger still, he retains all his memories and yes, even his perviness from his previous life. The newly named Rudeus embarks on the journey of growing up all over again. We see him during a series of time skips, initially struggling to do much more than explore his surroundings. As time passes and he can finally walk on his own feet, he stumbles upon a treasure chest filled with books. But these aren't just any books. They're a manual on how to use magic in this new world. With sheer determination, Rudy, as his family calls him, takes it upon himself to learn the art of magic. Rudy takes his first steps into the world of magic, casting a beginner-level spell without any incantations. His progress doesn't stop there, though. He tirelessly hones his skills, reaching the point where he can cast intermediate-level spells. Recognizing his potential, Rudy's parents, Paul and Zenith, decide it's time to bring in a magic tutor for their gifted son. Enter Roxy, a magic tutor who doesn't exactly match Rudy's expectations. Short in stature and far from thrilled about her new pupil, she initially doubts Rudy's abilities. However, things take an unexpected turn when Rudy, attempting to slyly peek under Roxy's skirt, accidentally shortens his incantation and reveals his unique ability to cast magic without incantations. Roxy's opinion shifts, realizing that Rudy might be worth teaching after all. The episode concludes with Zenith calling Roxy and Rudy home for lunch. Under Roxy's tutelage, Rudy makes steady progress in his magical education, already possessing innate talent and now benefiting from an exceptional teacher. As a year passes, he even learns some advanced magic. On the flip side, Rudy's sword training doesn't go quite as smoothly. He faces relentless defeat at the hands of his father, Paul, who excels in all three styles of swordsmanship. Nevertheless, the Greyrat family gathers for a small celebration on Rudy's 5th birthday. Paul presents him with a sword, Zenith with a book, and Roxy with a wand, signaling the final lesson of her instruction. The following day, Roxy informs Rudy that it's time for their last outdoor demonstration, a challenge he dreads due to lingering trauma from his past life. Despite Rudy's initial reluctance to venture outside, Roxy motivates him to overcome his fear. With her guidance, he finds the courage to step outdoors. Once in the field, Roxy demonstrates a sacred class spell that triggers a massive thunderstorm. Rudy, equipped with his new wand, replicates the spell, even surpassing Roxy's original demonstration. Roxy then declares his graduation as there's nothing more she can teach him. Their farewell is an emotional one. However, Rudy's discovery of a box containing Roxy's panties adds an unexpected twist. Rudy pledges to treasure the box forever, even developing a habit of regularly praying to it. Roxy's assistance in conquering his fear of the outdoors has prompted Rudy to venture outside more frequently. During one of his excursions, he witnesses some boys bullying a forlorn and dirty elf. Initially hesitant to intervene, Rudy ultimately saves the boy in a roundabout way, using his magic to clean the elf's hair. The boy, named Self, shares his desire to learn magic, and Rudy readily agrees to teach him. As they make progress, Self expresses interest in learning incantation-less magic, a request Rudy doesn't believe he can fulfill. To his astonishment, Self successfully masters this skill, shattering Rudy's dreams of being the sole practitioner. Their time together takes a dramatic turn when a storm hits, leading Rudy to bring Self to his own home. Rudy prepares a bath for himself and insists Self join him, but the elf refuses. In a surprising revelation, it turns out Self is actually a girl. Rudy is taken aback and tries to apologize, but Self flees. Thanks to Paul's guidance, Rudy and Self eventually reconcile, forging a newfound friendship. The Greyrat family has reason to celebrate as Zenith reveals she's pregnant once again. However, things take an unexpected twist when Lilia announces her own pregnancy, with Paul as the father. This revelation casts a shadow over the joyful atmosphere, leading Zenith to consider expelling Lilia from their home and admonishing Paul for his infidelity. Rudy senses the tension and decides to shoulder the blame, suggesting that Lilia cannot refuse Paul's orders as her employer. Surprisingly, Paul plays along with Rudy's ploy, convincing Zenith to let Lilia stay. It is later revealed that Lilia was the one who seduced Paul, and she expresses gratitude to Rudy for his assistance in being accepted into the family. Previously terrified of Rudy and his perverted tendencies, Lilia finally embraces him as part of the family. However, Paul grapples with feelings of inadequacy as Rudy matures quickly, preventing him from fulfilling his role as a father figure. 9 months later, Norn and Aisha, Rudy's two little sisters, are born. Rudy receives a letter from Roxy, informing him that he should enroll in a magic university once he turns 12. Excited by the prospect, Rudy shares the news with Sylphie, who expresses her own desire to attend. Unfortunately, Sylphie's family cannot afford the tuition. Determined to support both himself and Sylphie, Rudy takes on a job. In an unexpected turn of events, Paul renders Rudy unconscious and places him in the care of his friend, Ghislaine. Rudy awakens to find himself in a carriage headed for the city of Ro, where he will work at his cousin's house. The catch: he must avoid contact with Sylphie and his family for the next 5 years and complete this job to pay for their university expenses. The letter also contains insights into Ghislaine, the person responsible for Rudy's current situation. The story takes an intriguing turn when Rudy writes that in this new world, he's never been able to defeat Ghislaine except in bed. As they arrive in the city of Ro, they discover Rudy's job is to tutor a girl named Eris. His responsibilities include teaching her magic, reading, and writing. However, things don't start off smoothly as Eris gives Rudy a harsh welcome, punching him square in the face the moment they meet. Swallowing his pride, Rudy suggests to Eris's father and grandfather that they stage a fake kidnapping scenario to earn her respect. Surprisingly, they agree and the plan is set in motion. Unfortunately, the situation takes an unexpected turn when one of Philip's servants, in cahoots with real kidnappers, orchestrates a legitimate kidnapping. Rudy and Eris manage to escape, though they're uncertain about the kidnappers' true motives. Rudy proves his worth by repeatedly saving Eris from danger as they make their way to the city. However, the kidnappers continue to pursue them, and Rudy uses his magic to fend them off until Ghislaine arrives to save the day. Eris comes to respect Rudy for his bravery and skills, accepting him as her teacher and requesting that he call her by her given name instead of my lady. Philip expresses his gratitude to Rudy for saving Eris and asks him to keep their family connection a secret to avoid future targeting. Rudy takes on the role of Eris's tutor, teaching her math, magic, and reading, while Ghislaine imparts her swordsmanship expertise. Although Eris excels in swordsmanship, she struggles to maintain interest in other subjects. Rudy, determined to motivate her, seeks Ghislaine's advice. She shares a story from her past when she felt inferior due to her inability to count, inspiring Rudy to grant Eris a day off each week to keep her motivated. On Eris's day off, the trio tours the market. Rudy's perverted tendencies come into play as he expresses interest in an aphrodisiac. Eris attempts to purchase it for him, but he refuses, stating that he'd only accept a gift purchased with her allowance. Curious, Eris inquires about allowances and later asks Philip for one, which he grants. She uses her allowance to purchase the vial for Rudy, who is flustered by the gift's implications. As Eris's 10th birthday approaches, Rudy allocates some of his lesson time to a dance tutor to prepare her for the grand party. During his free time, he attempts to decipher books written in the demon tongue. Rudy writes to Roxy, seeking her assistance as she hails from the demon continent. With her guidance, Rudy makes significant progress in understanding the demon language, allowing him to read from these mysterious texts. At the party, Eris attempts to dance with a noble fail, leading to a public stumble. Rudy steps in, taking her hand and urging her to relax. Together, they deliver a splendid dance performance, earning Eris's gratitude. The episode concludes with a mysterious ball of light in the sky, leaving Eris's grandfather, Soros, apprehensive about its significance. 2 years elapse, and Eris, along with her family, celebrates Rudy's 10th birthday. Rudy, saddened by his family's absence due to Paul's monster cleanup duties, nonetheless enjoys the celebration. Eris gifts him a top-tier magic staff, which Rudy deeply appreciates. Although Philip hopes Rudy will marry Eris and continue their family line, Rudy hesitates to accept despite secretly longing for it. The next day, a massive dark cloud blankets the continent, prompting concerns about ominous signs. While Rudy, Ghislaine, and Eris venture into the wild for Rudy to test his new staff, they encounter Aromanfi, who attacks Rudy under the mistaken belief that he caused the dark clouds. Ghislaine clears up the misunderstanding, but as Rudy continues his demonstration, a burst of light engulfs them. Suddenly, Rudy finds himself in a place filled with white mist, contemplating whether his previous 10 years were a dream. Two peculiar beings, referred to as man-gods, approach him, revealing that they've been observing him and offer their help. They instruct him to aid the person he encounters upon waking if he wants to survive. Returning to consciousness, Rudy meets Rudeus Superdia, a member of the feared demon race, the Superds. Initially frightened, Eris gradually warms to Rudeus' presence. Rudeus explains that they're on a mission to escort Rudy and Eris through the demon continent. During their journey, Rudeus shares the tragic history of the Superds, who were cursed by demon god Laplace and turned into mindless killers. Rudy's mission is his way of seeking redemption. The trio proceeds to the village of Magridia, Roxy's birthplace. While staying there, Rudy informs Roxy's parents of his intention to return someday as their daughter's husband. Rudy, Rudyard, and Eris embark on the next phase of their journey, which takes them to the village of Rikarisu. Before continuing, Rudy dyes Rudyard's hair blue to disguise him as a member of the Migridia tribe. In the city, they join a guild to earn money for their journey. Rudy forms a team named Dead End and aims to leave the city swiftly. However, their low ranking prevents them from accessing high-paying missions. Rudy is advised to take on a pet mission, which ultimately leads them to confront a group that kidnaps people. Tragically, one of their party members loses their life due to Rudy's hesitation in the face of danger. Rudyard intervenes to save Rudy, and Eris ultimately slays the monster. Rudy's attempt to exploit the other party members for more dangerous missions is exposed by a member of their group, leading to a confrontation. Rudyard reveals his true identity to the informant and intimidates him into silence. As time passes, the company departs from the village and sets its sights on a coastal city near the continent's edge. Rudy and Rudyard resolve their differences, with Rudyard acknowledging Rudy as a warrior rather than a child. Rudyard shaves his hair too to completely avoid any suspicion whatsoever. Rudy and the others arrive at a coastal city that has a port. Roxy and some others also arrive in the same city on a boat. Roxy is also looking for Paul's missing family. Later on, Rudy is guided by the man-god to buy food and pass through a specific street. Rudy passes through that street and gives food to a bit too lightly dressed Loli. She tells him that she is the renowned demon empress Kashirika. She thanks Rudy by giving him a demon eye that can see a bit into the future, leading Rudy to save a guy who almost had an accident. Later that day, Rudy tells the others about these events and he takes a few days alone to get used to his new vision. When he is used to it, he spars with Eris and completely destroys her in hand-to-hand combat, something that seemed too far-fetched to be true. Rudy tries to book the tickets to the central continent, but since Rudyard is a super, the fee to transport him is very high. Rudy wonders if he should sell his staff, but Rudyard tells him not to do it since it gives him feelings. In the end, a man named Gallus appears with an offer. Roxy looks everywhere for Paul's family and finds nothing, while one of his partners seems to have other plans. Roxy looks all around and finds nothing. She comes across Eris and Rudyard sparring but thinks that they are both superds and runs away. Meanwhile, Gallus offers to smuggle Rudyard alongside him if Rudy liberates some goods for him on the other side of the sea. Rudy and Rudyard reluctantly agree. When Rudy reaches the other side, he realizes that he is supposed to liberate beast children being held by smugglers. Rudy gets angry and liberates them all with the help of an extremely angry Rudyard. On his way, Rudy finds the cutest thing on the show, a magic dog. He frees it, but the local beastmen who came to free their children think Rudy is one of the smugglers and take him captive. Rudy is captured in Doldia village and is quite literally stripped naked of all of his belongings. He jokes that it might awaken something inside him. He can easily break out of the cell anytime he wants to, but he doesn't, as he doesn't want to antagonize the villagers. He instead decides to wait for Rudyard and Eris. Rudy is later joined by Geese, another human prisoner who did something to offend them. Geese calls Rudy his senpai and they both discuss how beast women are cute. Truly master and student, the village is later attacked and burned by Gallus and his men. Rudy and Geese escape captivity, but Ruby decides to help the villagers instead. Rudy uses his sacred water magic to put the fire out and then tries to fight Gallus. But Gallus proves himself to be a worthy opponent. That's all for now. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. Make sure to watch part 2 to find out what happened with Rudy and the others.